What is going on, you guys? I'm coming to you with an Armada list today, and this is going to be a Sloane fleet, and I am putting this together to be one of those builds that you can try to look forward to being able to do some what I'm going to call gaming achievements, or your tabletop achievements. I talked about this in my last video, and that it doesn't matter if you win or not, but there's certain things that maybe you can do with a list like this that that would be great to pull off. Without necessarily meaning that you're going to, if you don't win, at least maybe you pulled a couple of interesting things off. So I'm going to use a Vic-1. Vic-1s aren't used a whole lot, and the reason is basically points at this point, but also it's part of the achievements. Being able to get black dice shots with a Vic-1 is always a good thing, and that's kind of what we're trying to do here. So, and to facilitate that, I'm going to give it external racks. And I'm going to run 2 Vic-1s with external racks. And I'm going to make one of these my flagship with Sloane on board. So we are going to be running a lot of squadrons here as well. And Vics are good for that. They're cheap. They have a good squadron number, and and then they have some stuff that's going to facilitate squadron play as well. So we're going to take our other one that's not going to be our flagship, and we're going to give this one some upgrades to make it a little bit better of a carrier. One of the things we're going to do is put flight controllers on there, so this way, when we do activate squadrons with this other Vic-1, it's going to gain some extra blue dice. And we will also put boosted comms to give it that extra range, so this way it can hit squadrons at farther away and get extra blue dice. That's one of the things that we're looking forward, like the synergy with this build. We want extra blue dice, and Sloane can allow those extra blue dice to be a little bit more beneficial, because if you end up getting a crit, you can re-roll it. Or if you're going up against somebody, an ace, you happen to get an extra blue die and it comes up as an accuracy that you didn't need, you can maybe spend a scatter. If you're going up against an A-wing like Tycho, Selchu, or Shara Bay, you spend an accuracy on their scatter and force them. Well, if you want to scatter now, it's going to be gone. And so those are some of the other achievements that you're looking for in a build like this, and and the synergy that you're trying to make work. And that's one of the things that we're hoping to see happen. Additionally, we're going to add a Quasar 2, and a Quasar 2 is going to be obviously a really good carrier. It's pretty much the best carrier in the game, at least from a certain point of view, but I definitely like it. One of the reasons I like it is for this dual weapons team. So we are going to give them flight controllers as well. Now, this is a dual flight controller build, so I believe the only place you can get flight controllers is in the Victory Star Destroyer expansion pack. So if you only have one Victory expansion pack, you may have to borrow another flight controllers for this. Or you can just drop flight controllers off the Vic-1 and go with something else. Since you've got black dice, you could go with Ordnance Experts or something like that as well. There's other options available. So what are we going to also we're going to put? Well, for the other one, I really, really like Ruthless Strategists for the Quasar Fire 2. One of the reasons I really, really like this is because it's after attacking a squadron, you can deal a damage to a friendly squadron engaged with that defender. If you do, the defender suffers 1 damage, and it's because of this red anti-squadron die here. So basically, what's going to happen is you're going to do your squadron command first. You'll move your squadrons into play, and then based on how much the damage they're able to deal, or how much health is remaining on the opponent, then you do your shot. You do this frontal arc red die to everybody, and if you've got 1 health left on him, like you didn't have enough to kill him, then go ahead and deal 1 damage to one of your TIE fighters or something. The thing is, like, TIE fighters, regular generic TIE fighters, are great for Ruthless Strategists because so many times they're gonna die in a single shot anyway. So it's a really good idea. Or if they have 2 health left, they're definitely going to probably die in a single shot. So put 1 more damage on them to guarantee 1 more damage to an enemy squadron, especially an ace that is running the risk of bracing or scattering. It's just absolutely worth it. And because you were using that red attack, you have that range, you can use Ruthless Strategists on so many squadrons in that front arc. It's just beautiful, and we're going to synergize this even more And again, we're really going for gaming achievements here. We're going for some fun stuff with this Quasar. We're going to put Callus on there. So if you're able to, at long range, roll a red, and maybe it ends up a double hit, then you can add any die of your choice to your attack pool. Maybe if it's an ace, maybe I'll now add a blue in hopes that I get that accuracy, right? Or if it's not, or if it's not somebody that has a scatter, maybe then you'll add a black because you have a better chance of getting that hit. So you make it 3. So even if they brace, you're still gonna be 2 damage. Callus is gonna be so good, and then you do Ruthless Strategist after that. So much damage against squadrons. Really, really nice there. We're going to also add boosted comms, so we have the bigger range for our stuff. And I will also put on Pursuant. This is a title I don't use a whole lot, but this is going to allow us to get maybe that key nav or even an engineering command. And it's also going to protect us against slicer tools. So Pursuant's going to give you a lot of flexibility based on what kind of stuff you face. So I like Pursuant as well. And so if this comes into play, this can count as a gaming achievement as well. It's a title that isn't necessarily super common, but it could really counter an opponent's threat. So that much is really nice. This is also actually, in addition to being defense against slicer tools, it's also a defense against those new Mandalorians with assault tokens. So it could help you make sure that you get that squadron command. All right, that being said, although granted, you have to reveal a command other than a squadron dial, but no problem. There's crits that'll do that. There's all kinds of stuff where that can help Pursuant come into effect. I like the insurance it gives you for only 2 points. So let's look at squadrons at this point. We're not adding more ships. We're going to add some squadrons. So first thing we're going to add is the vanilla TIE Fighter. They're going to work so well with Sloane. They really do. And we're going to add a lot of these. I'm going to start off with 8 TIE Fighters. If you have a core set, you already have 6. If you have the Imperial Fighter Squadrons pack, you should have 8 at least. And if you've got more than that, then awesome. We're also going to add Darth Vader. We do need some escorts. Well, I would like some escorts, at least, because we're going to have some interesting stuff that's going to be useful to have escorts. I will also add Tempest Squadron in there as well. Tempest Squadron is just it's just a little bit. It's only 1 point more than your regular TIE Advance, but you've got Bomber on there, and that black die with Bomber is really good. It's a nice little bonus. It really is. So we have 2 escorts now. With that, we can afford to put Dengar out there. Dengar is going to give everybody counter, which is going to be real nice for Darth Vader, by the way. Especially with Sloane too, right? Like while a squadron is attacking, it can reroll a die with a crit. That's awesome. Let's add a little more synergy here and try to come up with more gaming achievements by adding Howl Runner. So now, if obviously your Darth Vader and Tempest Squadron aren't going to be able to add an extra die with Howl Runner, but any of the TIE Fighters or Dengar or anybody who is, if a TIE Fighter is just out of the escort range, or if Vader and the Tempest Squadron get killed, the TIE Fighter gets counter 1. He's now going to roll an extra die because of Howl Runner, and if there's crits, they can reroll one of those crits because of Sloane. So you're making counter way, way better. So Howl Runner's synergizing with Dengar here. Really, your escorts here are primarily to protect Dengar, and then to a lesser extent Howl Runner. But Dengar and Howl Runner also have a scatter in case they get that. The problem is Dengar doesn't have the counter 1, so you definitely want Dengar to be protected, and that's what these the Darth Vader and Tempest Squadron are for. So there's a lot of different synergy here, a lot of different options to make cool things happen. Like ideally, it would be really nice to see somebody attack a TIE Fighter, and then the TIE Fighter gets counter 1 plus 1 die because of Howl Runner, re-rolling 1 because of Sloane, and managing to get like a kill in return from that would be a lot of fun. There's other ways you can maximize that synergy. Where there's crew that you could put on board some of these other ships. Like if you wanted to go with, where is there Instructor Gorin, you could make that even higher. There's ways. Or putting Soontir Fel out there, or if you're just running interceptors instead of TIE fighters. Problem is you won't have quite so many squadrons at that point. So right here we're looking at 6. Wait, did I say 6? Are we going to rerunning? We're going to run 8. There we go. Yeah, 8 TIE fighters. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're running 12 squadrons, which is a pretty high amount. And we'll have a couple of aces in there too. Vader is just going to be tremendous as is, especially with flight controllers. And I have 2 ships with flight controllers. So Vader will be rolling 4 blue and a black. His crits are going to count. He is the one that can go in there and potentially one-shot people. And if he does go up against an ace, if he rolls a blue crit, he can re-roll that to fish for the accuracy if he needs to. Well, again, we can only... Oh, I'm incorrect there, because we can only re-roll the crits when we're attacking a ship. But still, he can fish for the... Well, he's not going to get the blue die. So, all right, I stand corrected. Vader's not going to be able to fish for the accuracy, but either way, your other guys will be able to fish for the accuracy, because they'll want to spend that accuracy on spending tokens. So the couple of things here is like there's all this squadron synergy that you can make work. There's the Quasar Fire 2 with Ruthless Strategists, or Agent Callus, the Quasar just lighting up enemy squadrons. So maybe these guys don't have to. And then there's getting your black dice to work from the victories. Even if you only get a side shot, you still have external racks, and the Vics are tough enough to survive for a little while. So hopefully that is something else you can make work here. Let's talk about objectives with a list like this. Now, one of the things, because the Vics are slow, I want to look at objectives that are going to help us, with Vics. Now, opening salvos right out. I use this one a lot. Most wanted, definitely not going to work. Close range intel scan. I don't really have enough stuff that's guaranteeing me accuracy. I'm not super crazy about that. Dust fields, I could see them being a little bit useful, but you're going to have a lot of obstacles on the board here as well. But again, this could benefit my opponent a little bit if they end up having stuff that guarantees them accuracy, or if they have interdictors too to shift terrain around, since I have more stuff on the board. Nobody ever uses blockade run, although it would be fun to try it one of these days. I think this one needs to be, you need to be able to leave early. Like if I get past your blockade quickly, I need to be able to hyperspace out before the end of the game. I think that would make it more fun. Otherwise, I don't ever want to play blockade run. Advanced gunnery, not really the best with a Vic 1. It just isn't. I mean, it might pay off once, but I think my opponent's going to end up getting more out of it than I would. Which brings us to these bottom 3. I'm not running enough bombers to make precision strike worth it. Targeting beacons is a possibility here, because it would give me some rerolls, but I don't have enough ship attack dice to really make that great. So I'm going with Station Assault. Station Assault is going to let me dictate where the battle takes place. I can put both stations as close as possible to each other. If my opponent has an interdictor, they can move them a little bit, but it's still, and I don't mind that as much, because it still allows me to know where the battle is going to take place. It gives me information for deployment. It tells me, it means that my Vics are going to be able to get closer to the battle, and I'm much more likely to get shots with them and make those black dice actually work, because my opponent's definitely going to want to go for this station. So we're going with Station Assault. For defense, I'm going to do a similar aspect here. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'm going to go with fire lanes. Fire lanes is something you usually take when you have lambdas, and granted I could put lambdas in this build, but even if my opponent ends up moving stuff around, this is letting me dictate where the battle is going to take place, because I do have a lot of dice. I can fly these Vics right at the fire lanes, and if my opponent comes in to contest them, I'm in a good defensible, I can charge you with this list, and with all the squadrons I'm going to have, it won't be that hard to really make you pay for coming to right where I'm going to be, because I can have both Vics in the front and the Quasar slightly behind them. If you want to go after the Quasar, you're going to have to come through the Vics and face the black dice, which is exciting, so I think that will work, and I'll probably rack up a couple of victory points in the process. And then for blue, we're definitely going with superior positions here, because I have so many squadrons. I will for one, definitely get to dictate the battlefield because I'll know exactly where you're going to be. But also, I have such a good chance of getting those shops behind you that that it pretty much guarantees that I'll get a lot of extra victory points out of this. So these are the three that I would go with for this build, and I think this would just be a fun one, even if you don't win. Again, there's a lot of fun things you can do here. Hopefully, your deployment will be advantageous. Like, I think if I had nothing else, you should have a really favorable deployment if you end up being second player here, or at least a deployment that you feel strongly about. And that's kind of what we have going. So that's about it for the video. We'll do ahead and do a print review. I'll put a link to Ryan Kingston's fleet builder in the description below. But make sure you check them out. It's a really good fleet builder. Only about 2 more weeks until Gen Con. Next week, I'm going to start announcing some of the winners of the X-Wing 2.0 conversion kit giveaway. So if you haven't already, you can enter to win one of those by becoming a subscriber and leaving a comment on this or one of my videos. It's very simple, and that's all it takes. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you would change the build up a little bit, or if you like it the way it is. Do you guys what do you guys think is going to be the big announcement at Gen Con? Do you think we're going to get an Armada announcement at all, or do you think they're going to make us wait? Don't forget, last year they did not announce anything for Armada at Gen Con. It wasn't until about a week or two afterwards, so they may still make us wait. Are you even thinking about that? Will that break your heart like it would break mine? I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.